I have had a lot of advice about how to find a job you love, how to craft a CV, have a personal brand, and forge a career. I've built my own website and I've applied for thousands of jobs. Over the years, I've also learned a lot about people and social dynamics. And I've come to the conclusion that a lot of this advice was wrong. Not entirely wrong. A lot of those things do help. But what no one talks about enough is that we succeed in life, find the right jobs, get promoted, progress our careers, because people like us. That has been a huge problem for me. I am an extremely unlikable person. So I thought I'd share why that is, because it might help some of you understand your own success and failures. First, I'm a critical thinker. I tend not to follow the crowd. I read a lot, I listen to podcasts, I enjoy learning new things, and I form my own opinions. I think we're living in a very authoritarian culture, and people who think critically are not very popular. Secondly, I believe we should be able to hold men to account for their behaviour. But culturally, this is an extremely unpopular opinion and a very dangerous thing to do. I have certainly paid a very high price for doing so. Thirdly, I have had high levels of insecurity. Compared to most of my peers after the age of 16, I come from a low-income background. That alone has brought plenty of challenges, but alongside that, and I think a bigger problem, is that I experienced pretty high levels of family dysfunction when I was growing up. When I became a parent, I learned about generational trauma, the devastating impact it can have, and I broke that cycle. I'm sure many of my fellow millennials can relate. That took a huge amount of courage and resilience. My son is 9 now. No one is perfect, but he is kind, confident, and happy. He is undeniable proof that I am on the right path. He is my greatest achievement and my greatest contribution to a healthy society. Because contrary to popular belief, children are not just small people who bring us joy as individuals. Raising children to be healthy, well-rounded adults is a huge service to society, one we don't really recognise or value. What I learned through being a mother made me a better human and a better employee. If those things are true, find it desperately sad that motherhood is something that will never make it onto my CV, is not valued by employers, and in fact, very much works against me. There are plenty of paradoxes when it comes to being a woman in this society, and I think motherhood is the greatest paradox of all. You tell us it's the most important job in the world, but I have never felt more socially and economically excluded than when I became a mother. The birth rate is dropping because of the way you treat women like me. I'm not convinced we need more people on the planet, but if you do want women to have more children, perhaps it's time for a rethink. Like a lot of women my age, I'm someone who has done a lot of therapy, precipitated by so-called postnatal depression. It's not depression. It's the natural result of expecting women to raise children in isolation with no village, no meaningful, practical, or more so, emotional support. So I did a lot of reading and learning, and now that I've gotten over my insecurity, psychological one at least, it's time for a rebrand. Many people have told me that I'm brave. I've never liked that label because that bravery has been born out of hardship. Too few people have been kind enough or able enough to help me. When problems are systemic, they're difficult to understand and difficult to solve.